Trump's negotiations with Putin, pressure from neocons, and the path to peace in Ukraine. When President Trump spoke with President Putin a little over a week ago, the Russians indicated they would prepare a document they refer to as a memorandum, what Trump calls a term sheet. This term sheet outlines a potential framework for peace. The idea is to gather proposals from both the Ukrainian and Russian sides, compare them, and identify areas of agreement and disagreement. The goal is to merge these proposals into a cohesive plan that could lead to a negotiated settlement. Once both sides meet their term sheet, their next step would be another high-level meeting, likely in Geneva. Initially, there was considerations of holding talks in the Vatican, but Russia opposed that location. Geneva, as a neutral diplomatic hub, appears to be the next logical venue. Eventually, the process would culminate in a summit involving all three key leaders, Trump, Putin, and Ukrainian President Zelensky, where they would finalize a signed agreement to end the war. Trump's controversial Truth Social post, a strategic move? Recently, Trump made a post on Truth Social that has sparked widespread discussion. What Vladimir Putin doesn't realize is that if it weren't for me, lots of really bad things would have already happened to Russia. And I mean really bad. He's playing with fire. The phrasing, particularly the emphasis on really bad, suggests a warning. But why did Trump post this? Many sees it as a nonsensical statement. After all, the idea that Trump is personally shielding Putin from catastrophe is absurd. However, it may be a tactical move. Trump is under immense pressure from neoconservatives and hawkish factions within the US and Europe to escalate sanctions and military support for Ukraine. By appearing tough on Putin, Trump may be trying to buy time and deflect demands for further intervention. The pressure on Trump, sanctions and escalation. The pressure on Trump is mounting. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz recently hinted at the need for long-range missile strikes inside Russia, specifically referencing Taurus missiles. This was widely interpreted as a signal to the US to greenlight such actions. Meanwhile, Politico reported that Trump is losing patience with Putin, but remains undecided on further sanctions. The dilemma is clear. Option 1, continue funding Ukraine. If Trump requests another $30 to $60 billion from Congress, he risks alienating his base, which opposes endless foreign aid. Moreover, Ukraine's defeat seems increasingly inevitable, meaning Trump could be the president who presides over its collapse. Number 2 option, escalate militarily, agreeing to long-range strikes or sanctions would deepen U.S. involvement, making disengagement even harder. Option number 3, withdraw completely. Walking away now would trigger backlash from neocons and the media, but it might be the only way to avoid further entanglement. Russia's response, Medvedev's warning. Dmitry Medvedev, Russia's former president, responded sharply to Trump's post. The only really bad thing I know of is World War II. I hope Trump understands this. This was a clear warning that further escalation could lead to catastrophic consequences. Some Russian military analysts have even suggested that if Taurus missiles strike Russia, Moscow could retaliate by targeting weapons factories in Germany, potentially with tactical nuclear weapons. Kellogg's role in the flawed negotiation process. Keith Kellogg, a key advisor in Trump's administration, has been actively involved in shaping Ukraine policy. However, his recent statements raise concerns. He claimed Ukraine has already submitted its peace term, implying that Kellogg himself drafted them. This undermines any pretense of neutrality. He insisted that Russia must present its memorandum soon, despite Moscow's stance that negotiations should be balanced. He dismissed Medvedev's warning as reckless, ignoring Trump's own inflammatory rhetoric. Kellogg's approach seems counterproductive. By pushing for negotiations in Geneva, a non-neutral location, and aligning too closely with Ukraine, he risks derailing the entire process. Zelensky's demand $30 billion and long-range strikes. Zelensky continues to press for more weapons and funding, recently calling for a $30 billion arms package. He also hinted at deeper strikes into Russia, suggesting a potential deal for Taurus missiles. Additionally, Ukraine plans to lobby at the upcoming G7 summit for the seizure of frozen Russian assets, a move that would further escalate financial warfare. Europe's dilemma: war or negotiations? Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov accused Brussels of sabotaging peace talks. European hawks understand they lack the strength to continue the war. They fear the US will abandon them, leaving them to clean up the mess they started under Biden. This aligns with a growing divide in Europe. Germany and France pushing for escalation, possibly believing that drawing the US into direct conflict could force Russia's surrender. Hungary and Slovakia resisting further involvement, with Slovak Prime Minister Fico bluntly rejecting German pressure. Trump's tariff victory over the EU in a separate development. Trump claimed victory in a trade dispute with the EU, securing a 50% tariff concession. This underscores Europe's weak negotiating position as a U.S. vassal. It has little leverage. Other global developments: Israel threat to strike Iran. The New York Times reported that Israel may attack Iran's nuclear facilities, potentially derailing Trump's diplomatic efforts. However, Netanyahu's office denied the claim. Macron's embarrassments from Tissuegate, a bizarre cocaine rumor, to being shoved by a bodyguard. France's president has faced a series of humiliations blamed by some on Russian disinformation. Latvia's call to ban Russian tourists. Latvia is urging the EU to block all Russian travelers, citing security risk. Trump's critical decision. Trump's next move will define his presidency. If he continues funding Ukraine, he risks political fallout. If he escalates militarily, he could trigger a wider war. His best option may be to withdraw entirely, despite the inevitable backlash. The clock is ticking. Within months, Biden's $65 billion aid package will run out, forcing Trump to choose: double down on a losing war or cut losses and seek peace. The stakes couldn't be higher. That is it for me for today. Stay tuned for more upcoming breaking news, deep analysis, and essential updates you won't find anywhere. Don't get left in the dark. Hit subscribe now and smash that notification bell to be the first to know when major events unfold. Essential viewing is just one click away. More from me soon. Have a nice day.